as a music producer, what am I doing wrong when I use Splice samples? YouTube won't allow me to upload my beats.
Yeah.
He's getting flagged, and I saw a couple other people in the chat that were kind of saying the same kind of thing. So
Sometimes there are samples that are licensed from other producers who have that portion in their actual music that is in content ID. That's the problem that happens, especially you producers who are making and selling beats. So if you sell it non-exclusively and a bunch of artists are using it and uploading it and being like, hey, it's my song, and they put it in content ID, and now everyone else's is getting flagged.
100%, 100%. I was going to actually say that producers need to chop up your samples, because a lot of people are just taking the straight up melody loops. And then so when another artist is registering music and they're not, saying that they sampled some of this stuff or where this stuff came from, yeah, that's exactly right. Which is why I tell you guys every time on BeatStars, stop licensing beats. You need the exclusive beat where you can get the stems, where you can get, all the parts of it. And that way you're not getting Shazammed or content ID with YouTube. But if you're using little melody loops, you gotta chop them up more. I know I use Splice, but I use it for like drum hits and just maybe some like impacts and stuff. I don't ever use melodies for anything. And if you want to use like melodies, kind of like for your inspiration, use it for like an inspiration, and then maybe like redo it with another instrument and kind of, whatever.
I'm buying your sync course right now. Should I start an LLC for my sync work since it's separate from my artist stuff? Well, thank you so much for the super chat. To answer your question, starting the LLC for the sync work stuff. Yeah. So if you have an LLC, and guys, this is for all of you. If you have an LLC to protect you individually, or if you have partners, the LLC is really important as liability shield, so that someone can't come and get your personal assets, right? The money in your bank account, your car, your house. They can only sue the LLC. So A, make sure you have one, but then B, if you are starting a new like sync company or sync pitching company, starting something just for that would be a good idea. For just the sync course, if you're curious about getting your stuff into TV, film, games, we just launched that. And my goal with this, and I'm excited to get your feedback once you've gone through it, but my goal with this was to give you all the information at the cheapest possible price. And I'm really going to be focusing on that. I'm going to give you pretty much everything you need on the channel for free. And then when you do want to deep dive and you do want to like work on a very specific part of your business, that there are resources that I have that can help you, and to give you your contract templates and all this stuff that would, be really expensive if you went to a law firm, but that you can get it very inexpensively through just our top music attorney community and school. To this question, sometimes people just need to get an attorney. You know what I'm saying? Being a part of a union, when there's something like a TuneCore situation, or we have some giant that is just exercising dominion and being exploitative to artists, that's when a union would be amazing and powerful, and to be able to represent the voice collectively of all of us, versus the Beatles, and you're like, we really need to like sue these people, and it's more of an individual thing. Get an attorney.
If the union thing is ever going to take off, it needs to have a person that can really be the spokesperson of it and lead it, that people can kind of identify it with. Because again, that's what I always kind of see with, artists and musicians, is it's different from actors. We're way more individuals. We're not really collective. We're not a part of like productions, unless you're doing that kind of stuff. But for the most part, artists are just kind of out for themselves. So would an artist and a producer have the same union?
Yeah, I was thinking through that, and I go, it should be. It should be. I think that it should be a union on behalf of the creatives in the music space, because AFM represents musicians. And I go, that's because, what if you don't identify as an artist or producer, right? Because we have these people who are popping up on TikTok, these like 12-year-olds, 14-year-olds who are DJs, right? And they're illegally sampling music. But anyway, they're mixing stuff and they're doing their thing. They're actually not even releasing music on music platforms. So however they identify, I'm just saying all the people in these spaces who are then needing to utilize music platforms, who work with distributors and record labels, I want everyone in that group represented. Music Attorney is your #1 legal resource for artists, producers, and record labels. Get contract templates, one-on-one legal advice, free master classes, and everything you need for your music business. Go to topmusicattorney.com.
I started
my LLC. Yeah. Should I enter my artist name as a doing business as? I plan on using my stage name for all Things music, yeah, that would be fine. And that's smart, right? So you don't have to start a new LLC for each thing that you're doing. Okay. So if you have an artist kind of venture or you're in a band, set up the LLC and then the band or the LLC is doing business as the band. So that's exactly what you should be doing. Good question.
Do you have an admin agreement document you can share? I want to show the interested music supervisors that I have authorization and music has been cleared.
You know what? Great question. So what you can do is when you reach out and through the sync licensing course. So what I give you is the database with the 90 plus music supervisor and music library that you
Super
can reach
cool.
out to, but also the templates, which include the language that you're looking for as far as it being one stop. So you go, I have all of the clearances. And so you actually say that when you reach out. So that's actually in the template that I provide in the course.
We're seeing this actually a lot lately. Artists are better off selling from their own sites.
I would love to get your guys' thoughts on this on, because I know this has been kind of going around selling directly, right? And even taking your music completely off of music
We're
platforms.
seeing it. We're seeing it.
Yeah, and I had a great conversation about this actually just yesterday, and the person I was speaking with was just saying it's a shift. Like, as soon as you take your music off and you're like, "No, I have to sell directly to my fans, my vinyls, my CDs." The
Yeah.
great thing about it is it forced me to have to really think about this on how to sell. And even though it's harder, like, this guy's probably made, like, way
Way
more
more.
money than
Yeah,
he
way
ever
more.
would just having his music for free, technically, pretty much,
And I think
on
that's the
music
key.
platforms.
I think that's the key. It's just how you're looking at your career and what kind of career you wanna have. Are you trying to support yourself so you can quit your 9 to 5 job, or are you trying to be the next superstar? Those are very different paths. You don't need as many fans when they're buying direct. You sell 100 album downloads on your website, you will make way more money than if you had streamed 100,000 times on Spotify. You can have a sustainable career that way. A lot of artists are also going to Bandcamp. Is that what it is?
Yeah. Well, yeah, Bandcamp's
Um,
getting a lot of love right now.
because and they're getting support because there's a whole community of people that really want to support artists and that don't just want to get everything at the cheapest price where it feels like our music can be disposable.
For my company, which runs 2 labels, and all releases on our label having their own platform for their fans, directly supporting buying their music directly. Yeah, I was sharing, I'm like, the idea of that, because I haven't done that. I mean, my music is on all platforms right now. But I go, the idea of that's kind of exciting because, I have my fan base, and it would be a way to actually get to know some of my fans a little bit more, especially because, like, I do my order fulfillment. When people buy stuff from my store, I sign it. I do all the things, but I'm not actively promoting it just because I don't really like selling stuff. I just want to give stuff. You know what I'm saying? And if people dig my music and they dig what I'm doing, like, I love you immediately, and that's great. Let's be friends. But you got to do it. You got to think like a label. You got to learn to sell, and you got to do it in creative ways.
I'm gonna
All
pop
right.
right in real quick just to say, no, you guys have no idea, and I'm gonna use this opportunity to kind of prove that point. She hates doing promo. Like it's very hard. Like it's like I have to force her to try to do remind you guys of things like we have the Top Music Attorney podcast that you can listen to in your car when you're working out. It's on Spotify and all other platforms. I just really just wanted an excuse to promote. So
It's funny, one of my clients last week, because I'm blessed. I'm blessed in that my clients follow a lot of my stuff, music wise, and on this channel. And she was like, I watched your video on how to not be a broke musician and like the 35 ways, because we did the PDF, but it was from a video where we went through the 35 ways to make money and just getting you to think. And one of the tips was to make meditation music. And she's like, that totally works for me. I'm doing it. I'm licensing my stuff to an online course. And then I was walking her through just how to not promote that, but to incorporate it into your online social media. Get really good on just showing up all the time. And if you follow my stuff, you'll notice that I try not to be overt about promoting my music anymore. It just is there. It's in the background. And if someone happens to leave a comment and they're like, what song is this? I'm like, pin it. And so I pin it and I answer it. And then that way, if someone else wants to know the song, they'll go look it up. You guys are smart enough. You'll figure it out. But anyway, so there's smart ways to do the anti-selling where you're promoting your stuff without being kind of spammy about it.